That's what my Zerg feels like. I'm basically in GM already. Haven't played for a couple of years, but
every person is just always in GM with Zerg. So.
bottom right hand side of Triton, our blue Zerg player from Infinity Gaming is Namshar.
And in the top left, it is a team kill from Infinity Gaming. It's the French Terran. It's Clem.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this series. This should be a good one. This should be pretty entertaining. This could be a long one too. These guys typically prefer kind of longer gameplay. You know, unless Clem's getting tilted in proxy racks, then you can definitely expect this to kind of go on a little while. So excited to see what comes out of this. So you know what it is as well. Like the last few days, people have suddenly started building battle cruisers again. It's like this like meta cycle just absolutely amuses me. It's like they buff pneumatized carapace, so it costs less. So it's like, you know what, I guess I should get pneumatized carapace. So obviously they see everything in terms of like, well shit, I can't do anything. So they start playing greedy, they just start playing 3cc every game. And then Zergs are like, you know, I just built pneumatized carapace every single time, and all I see is the fact he's got loads of SCVs, so I'm gonna stop. So Terrans are just like, cool, I'll build battle cruisers again. It's like such a stupid cycle, but like it's kind of fun, right? Because now there's that kind of more of a choice in the game, because you know, obviously it's a little bit RNG in terms of what you do, but
it'll eventually balance out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like sometimes they'll play BCs and sometimes they'll play 3CC, and this always happens when things change. Like in the game. Like usually people want to try out the new thing, so obviously everyone started doing Overlord speed as soon as it got buffed, you know, because it's like, this is new, we can do this. But then people realize it's not that amazing against some openings, so then they stop doing it, or they can get the same information against the meta openings that are happening right now, so they tend to prefer not to do it in that case, and then obviously the meta switches back, and then then everyone compensates for everything basically. That's usually how it works. It is funny to see that.
It's just been really funny because I feel like I've been making a real point, like, hey guys, you know, just BC openings are just dead at the minute, like, and then people start doing it. I was like, okay. I was like, wait a second, everyone's doing them again. It's like literally yesterday, like every TvZ BC opener, like multiple different players. Well. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm pretty sure he did do a BC opener into bio at one point as well, which was obviously very strange. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I really can't remember at the moment. Yeah. Anyways, this is going to be new test from Namshar here in game number 1. So we'll get that Overlord speed up and running. That's going to be noob test before link speed as well, so it really has it up nice and early. It does mean the link speed's a little bit later, so it gives this Reaper a little bit longer to be out on the map and scouting around.
Yep. I mean, this is like the most standard opening. Like, it's not even that it's like the most common opening. I think it is, but I'm pretty sure it is. But it's the best for getting into a macro game. This kind of opening is like you scout everything. You can do exactly the right like counter to your opponent's build. You can know exactly how much you want to drone. So like it makes things very easy to get into a macro game. And I think that's why Namshar and a lot of these like standard macro game Zergs like this sort of build. They don't like get caught off guard by things like how bad timings or whatever. So yeah, I mean it makes sense to see this from Namshar. I feel like Namshar is a bit of like a Serral light, you know. He's not quite as good as Serral in like every way, but he's just like he's almost as good as Serral, you know, in every way. So he ends up being, you know, a little bit less good version of Serral. But he likes to play the similar ways to Serral, I think.
I like the Serral light. Like that sounds good. When there's just too much Serral and a proper Serral for you, get Serral light. Namshar's your boy.
Yeah. He plays online tournaments as well, so you get to see some
which is nice. Play. Serral kind of gave up on those unless it's a Finnish tournament he plays Terran in. So. Did
he ever play in online tournaments?
Not a lot of the time. But for example, he played like Team Liquid Map Contest tournament, and I feel like there was some like online stuff more back in the day. He played a lot of the Team League stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he did used to. I'm not sure if you ever played like the online like cups though, like you know the $100 cups here or those sort of tournaments that I run.
Because I don't remember seeing it, but it might just be because he wasn't as good back then, you know. Like
I'm trying to have a.
It wasn't like on the forefront of it.
I'm trying to have a think. I don't think he's ever played in anything that was like my sort of tournament in that
Right. Yeah.
regard. I'm gonna check his match history though to see if he played in some base trade stuff because back then kind of was more like base trade dominated in terms of online events.
Mhm.
So that's definitely a possibility. And he did play in some like there was, oh my god, it's so disgusting when you scroll through his Olympic match history. What the hell? I'm like, is it
Like,
broken?
wait,
It's
wait, 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 wait,
it's
wait, wait.
bold on one side. Nation was Leipzig. Okay, so this is when he started to dominate. He played in the team league the year before he went and won everything.
Okay.
Yeah, he played in the People Images League, so that was like a base trade
Yeah.
event. That was all he played in that year. BlizzCon. Oh yeah, I went to BlizzCon the year before. He played in the Masters Coliseum, which is like a Korean one. He played in the Penthouse Party, which is obviously a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And that was the year he played a map contest as well. And he played in some ladder heroes back in 2017 too. So
Right.
yeah, not necessarily ones you would like sign up to and play for $100, but like if he qualifies into it, I would say, or if it's got a bit of a larger prize pool, that's typically when he was playing in these events. So that's pretty. Yeah, he did used to play in some.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I guess he's always been like adverse to these sort of tournaments. I don't know why. Like, I don't know what his reasoning is. It's
I
probably
think back
because-
in the day he just had school, right? So it was like
Right.
very
makes sense.
difficult to like play in a lot of them, and you know when you do come home, he wanted to focus on practicing or so. Perhaps I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
no,
are
that
seeing
makes sense.
Lingbane into Hive, so I'm kind of interested to see how Namshar does with that. He does get the cancel on the space, so that's pretty fast reaction time from Namshar. Getting a good surround, picks off one rune, that's not bad. Clem staying active with his Hellions. I think this is one of Clem's like biggest strengths is that he's always active with every unit he has. Yeah, so I like to see that from Clem. One thing I have noticed from Namshar is that he's very hesitant to go up to that like 80, 85 drone count, which I really like to see in ZBT. Like, I feel like that's when your economy just gets up to like a insane level, and then you can start taking like the less cost efficient trades, which I find is the Zug's kind of strength in the matchup, is that you take these inefficient trades, but you'll have such a big economy that it doesn't really it works out better for you. Yeah, I guess maybe Namshar like prefers to just focus on army for a while and make sure he's safe to everything. So yeah, just kind of interesting. And he is going up to 77 drones, so that's good.
That's a really nice drop. He picked off like 3 extra queens, so
Yeah.
done some good damage. And Clem cleans up some of this creep spread, so doing a very good job of this. I mean, extra Zerglings are running in and starting to get a bit of a cleanup going. That's a nice Bane connection, but all said and done here, this is Namshar just holding on pretty comfortably.
Ooh. He does get the active creep tumor. That's very nice from Clem. It's always really nice to get those active creep tumors because the queens aren't like teleporting everywhere, you know, like they take time to get to places. So just delaying that creep by even a little bit is really nice. It does actually make a big difference. So yeah, good stuff from Clem.
Yeah,
He is going into tanks actually, so I don't. This is kind of a weird choice against Lingbane because you definitely want to focus on Widow Mines. It's usually against like Hydras that you prefer like double tank production. So maybe he hasn't realized, or maybe this is just how he prefers against to play against Lingbane. I don't know exactly, but maybe it's actually just this map. This map is pretty good for tanks, so
a lot of ledges, right?
yeah.
I feel like the tanks help quite a bit when you go up against pure Lingbane into Ultra, because while Widow Mines are nice, I feel like the Widow Mines do fall off a lot when Ultras come into play. Like, Widow Mines do some good damage against Ultras, right? But typically you shouldn't let them kind of go off on Ultras ever, as they say.
Yeah.
And so I feel like then the tanks do kind of give you that foothold to sort of survive a bit longer, while obviously the Ultras come out a bit faster and so on. And I don't know, it's kind of it is interesting. It's a bit different.
I think his goal is to like keep this middle and keep the creep off there, and then work off from that. So I think the tanks make sense for that plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it actually. I would like to see him move into Widow Mines now because I feel like he does have a good tank account to hold this. So yeah, that's what I'd like to see from Clem. Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing very normal. I like to get a Nidus at this point, or maybe 2, but that's not for everyone. I find it's very difficult for the Terran to defend everywhere. This Lingbane Ultra is very very good for attacking everywhere. They're good in small trades. Yeah, so they're not really like a camping composition, obviously. They want to be attacking.
This is really nice. The Ultras kind of forced the Marines to unload on the high ground, but the Lingers hit the low ground, so they got the tanks for very little amount of losses. So I like that. It looks quite nicely. First Liberators starting to come out, and that will be the kind of the first stage of kind of shutting down these Ultras properly here. Ultras are going to run in over that side. I mean, Widowmine gets to go off in this as well. Planting Fortress being kept up at the moment up to the top. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm not sure kind of throwing away these Ultras, like, well, maybe getting a good engagement here, but yeah, it's rough to attack into Terran with like just one thing, because they can focus. They have the Liberators, they have the Widowmines, they have Planetary, and they have the tanks. So it's just very difficult to attack when everything's all in the same area. You usually want to be attacking multiple places against Terran.
Yeah, no, it's just especially like Liberators and tanks, they really benefit from just being in position, right? So
yeah,
like when they're over here, yeah, I mean he got 10 SCPs, but that was so many Ultras that went down, obviously, right? And that's obviously where the kind of issue kind of prevails in all of that, is we do see 10 more Banes are going to morph in over on this right-hand side.
He's going to try and break this Planetary. I don't think he's going to be able to get it, honestly. The surface area is not great. These buildings blocking the Planetary very well, and I mean Clem is ready. He's taking down the Banelings, so
yeah, the Banelings not connecting is obviously the big issue, because maybe if the Banes get here, they get the SCVs, they stop the repair. I mean, extra Banes show up way too late. 15 SCVs go down, sure, but again, it's a lot of Ultras and Banes for SCVs that really are very replaceable when you're not trading that well.
Clem's replacing with like CCs, so he can make it into orbitals, no more bases. So he doesn't really care about losing SCVs that much. He's still on a good count. 65 is perfectly fine. So yeah, I think Clem is pretty happy with the recent engagements.
Yeah, I would imagine so as well. As you just see Clem is actually getting a little bit aggressive here. You know, I really feel like Namshar's maybe been on Justling Bane Ultra for a bit too long, perhaps. I guess Spire coming up now, and we only are on 4 Liberators, so I guess it's not that big a deal, right? This is the stage, though, where you want to start getting those Corruptors up to deal with the Liberators. Otherwise, you're in some really continuous trouble. As you will see, Clem losing a couple of his tanks in the front line, but actually still has a Liberator up. Queens will get that kill, but he's chasing units down to the right. Drop was cleaned up elsewhere. He's got a Liberator that's picked up 9 drones as well. I mean, I still like it for Clem, just needs to not lose too much to these Banelings, and he will lift up.
Yeah, that was a little bit over-aggressive, I think. I don't think he really needs to be out here. Like, he's taking good cost-efficient trades. I think he just needs to keep harassing, taking bases, and then he'll eventually just wear out Namshar and, like, go into Ghost and stuff. So I feel like he could have taken the opportunity to go into Ghost, more Liberators and stuff, and keep on harassing. Whereas I feel... I don't know, I feels like he wants to stay on this very low-tier tech army and keep attacking, try to overwhelm, but I'm not sure Namshar's going to really die to that. I don't think that's too possible.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to die to that either, as we do see this Biopon back towards the Watchtower. That Ultra just goes the wrong way. That's really unfortunate. I mean, that's 6 supply. It's really quite expensive just to lose an Ultra for 3 like that, so... a bit unfortunate. As we do see he's going to catch again like a good few SCVs, but it comes at the cost of trading overall, I'd say, very badly, because, I mean, these Marines are getting underneath Corruptors, and that is obviously never meant to happen. Marauders on the low ground that were surrounded still stay alive. And that just means that Zerg isn't killing much here, and he climbs up 20 army supplies. He pushes down this map and towards a base, and I tell you what, there are 7 Banelings on the map. That's not enough to scare this away. And if you obviously start killing off bases, that's when, you know, Namshar gets into even more trouble here. And there's plenty of Marines to fight these Zerglings too, so actually he can trade very well in this. Just has to
he saw the Banelings morph as well, and it's always a desperate situation when the Terran sees the Banelings morph, and those are the only Banelings you have. That's a scenario you never want to be in.
Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised like how Clem did this. Like he stayed on the low tech army and just waited for Namshar to attack into him and take the good engagements and just overwhelmed him, I think. So I'm actually surprised with how this worked out.
I think the important thing about Lingbane Ultra though is that you don't want to go into like too high tech too quick, because if they keep building Lingbane, you're going to get overrun, and that's what Lingbane Ultra is very good at. So I think Clem did the right thing, right? Just adding on a few, you know, Liberators and slowly playing up. Like now Corruptors come out, you can start to justify getting Ghosts, I think. But I mean, obviously he's done a lot of damage to the point where he might not even need Ghosts here. I guess we'll see. The problem is also those Corruptors at the moment are kind of dead weight. I mean, obviously the Ultra count has been taken down quite a lot, so we'll see if Clem even adds on extra Liberators, because yes, the Corruptors can fight the Medivacs, but it's a lot of Corruptors just for, like, Medivac killing.
Yeah, for sure, and it's even adding more. I think that's just unnecessary. I actually think the Corruptor count is fine. Just because it is, like, kind of nice to shut down those Medivacs, like, in the fight. And the 9 Corruptors, like, that's good enough to do that. So yeah, I don't like him adding more. I think that's just unnecessary, but I do kind of like this Corruptor count. It does things in the fight, you know. It forces the Medivacs away, like, it means Terran has to commit to a fight usually, so yeah, it's not too bad. But adding on more, that's overkill, I think.
Medivac pulls away to the bottom left corner where it will be killed off by the Corruptors. There's the Ghost Academy dropping down. 4 more Liberators on the way, so Clem is now starting to kind of ramp back up into that high tech. Namshar's re-established the base he lost. He obviously had other bases to mine from in the meantime, so that never really went terribly for him. And Clem actually is, you know, struggling to max out again, while Namshar's maxed out with a bank in play, now running into a base on the left-hand side. Clem has a couple of tanks there, and that should scare the majority of these Banes away. A lot of them going off on depots without actually then getting kills. Bit of a shame.
Takes the opportunity to take down his tanks for not that much. I think it's a pretty good trade for Namshar. It's always nice to just cut down the tank count, because once it gets to, like, stupid numbers of, like, 13, it becomes really hard to engage into. So I do like that move from Namshar, taking up those stray tanks that were kind of on their own. That was a good move from him.
Yeah. A bit more bio coming across. A couple of tanks will start to siege as the Banes. And they keep trying to roll forwards in this, and well, they're going to get cleaned up for the moment. I mean, the Liberators did some pretty good damage to the Ultras on the way in, and there's only 1 Ultra left in this, but the Ling numbers might actually be the problem here. You can see Clem is just going to go and try and target down this Ultra, as the Lings are going to overwhelm. If the Ultras aren't there, then generally the Lings are okay once you get a bigger amount of bio. As Clem lifts up the central base, is going to take that across over to the left-hand side.
15 Corruptors now. That's such an insane number of Corruptors. This is an interesting choice from Namshar. It's not working out too badly, actually. I thought it would be... It's working out because he just has barely enough on the ground, right, to wipe out the ground army. But if there's ever any point where he's not taking out that ground army, the fight's going to go pretty south pretty quickly. Yeah, so I think at the moment it's working out, but it could become a problem. But I mean, Clem is adding on more Liberators, so they're still serving a pretty big purpose, like taking out those Liberators, sending Medivacs away. Like this is good stuff from Namshar.
There are 3 more Libs coming up here, so Clem is not done with them yet, as these Lings need to be careful though. I mean, they were really running in a line, and as he goes up the other side, there's a lot of tanks set up there with the Planetary Fortress. Obviously not a lot of bio to support it, so it just means the tanks will do initial damage. Looks like that Planetary is going to blow up as the Balins do arrive. Caustic spray from the Corruptors too. Here comes Clem though, up from the left-hand side, so he's going to get quite a few units as they get pushed out. And he is re-establishing that base pretty quick. He was also trying to take the far left side, but single Zergling currently blocking that, and a Liberator has picked up 9 drones again during this. So, you know, being able to harass while that's going on is really nice, and that's what's so good about Lib harassment. You quite often just set it up during a crazy moment like that, and you just forget about it yourself, and it's very tough for the Zerg to go and deal with that at the same time. So, got some drones, and keeps the work account of Namshar very much so in reach, and that's why Namshar's not just getting up to a crazy bank here, and neither player able to max out.
I feel like this is a very critical point in the game right now. Like, if Clem does well from this point, then it's going to end the game, because, like, Namshar's very all-in almost from this army. Like, he doesn't have a massive economy. Usually you want to be at, like, 80 drones, so he really does overwhelm, and he did overwhelm that fight. Like, I feel like he did pretty well in that fight, so it does look like Namshar's maybe in the lead. It's hard to say, because his army is so strong, but going forward, he doesn't have much of an economy. So if Clem can keep that economy under control, keep taking, like, good cost-efficient engagements, then it's going to work out for Clem. But it's going to be difficult with this like very Baning heavy army. Baning Ling heavy army.
Cost efficiency is definitely a big part of this, right? I mean, we're talking about 32,000 to 40,000 resources lost.
Yeah.
So Clem's trading very well, and that means, yes, he's a bit slow taking bases, but he's completely fine to be. And again, that's usually okay for Namshar if he's up like on 80 workers, but being up 7 workers, he's just not mining that much more to realistically kind of stay ahead of Clem. So while he has mined more, it's just not quite enough, and especially if Clem can really kind of stabilize on a couple of these bases. Namshar's doing a great job of shutting Clem's economy down though, right? And one thing that is worth keeping in mind is if, you know, this Namshar keeps doing this, Clem will eventually run out of mining for himself, and then he can't rebuild no matter how well he's traded.
This was a really nice like tactical move, having the Lings on the bottom side when Clem is trying to take a new base, and then pouncing on this like middle base where Clem didn't really have that much to defend. That was really good decision making from Namshar, and really capitalizing on the lack of defense for this middle base. So really well done from Namshar.
You know, as
And
well.
I feel like Clem is kind of all in at this point. It's a tough situation. Like
yeah.
he hasn't got much economy left. He's only had 33 SCVs.
Yeah.
He really just have to do something big with this army. It's going to be very tough though. And this is such a supply efficient army.
That's exactly what I was going to say as well. He's down at only 33 SCVs, and that's not a lot to work with. And suddenly, you know, it was just that last attack. Great move by Namshar. And he does what he needs to do here, given his current economy situation. And now, well, Clem's going to be the one in economy trouble. As Corruptors get rid of the Liberators, the Ultras are streaming through, and it feels like Namshar has the numbers to at least clean up this central position. Now, he's going to keep giving chase as well. The problem is this is only Marines, and the Marines just don't do much against Ultras. And the Corruptors are starting to come in. I mean, there's reinforcements. That's maybe time for Namshar to turn around here. He just runs straight into it, and he's just going to lose his Ultras. And yeah, he gets some medevacs, but that's not worth the multiple Ultras he just lost out on. It does keep Clemmer going.
In the end, these bases didn't die, and Clem is actually retaking these bases, and he does have mules still. I would like to, yeah, he's doing it now. He's remaking SCVs. I was just about to say, I'd like to see him make more SCVs, because 33 is just, it's too low. You want at least 50, and mules would be absolutely amazing for Clem right now. And I really feel like Namshar needs to, the problem is he doesn't have bases to even drone up. Like, he's max saturated on basically all his mining bases. Yeah, like, this is the issue, is that he was so all in on that army that he wasn't even focusing on bases or economy. That was kind of like he kind of needed to win there, I feel like. So I think from this point on, Clem might actually be able to win this. It's all about like the engagement, really.
Yeah, I mean, Namshar definitely didn't have the better end to the last engagement, right? Those Ultras running into the bio.
Yeah.
That was obviously a big loss too, right? Something that's 20 supply you lose out on, and yeah, the medevacs he just got weren't worth it. So now he's in trouble because all he can make is Lingbane. And so, you know, Clem should have an easier time trading than he's had in a long time. I mean, an extra Ultra tries to slip in now, but Namshar just doesn't have the eco set up properly to truly build up Ultras anymore, and that is becoming his biggest problem here.
Great patience from Clem. Like, he knew he wasn't out of the game at any point. He just kept retaking bases, taking good trades. Like, it felt really dire for him at like some points. Like, he kept losing this middle base, but he knew like he was doing damage on the other side, right? Like he was getting 9 drones every now and then with the Liberators. He knew necessarily Namshar wasn't on a super high drone count, so just nice patience from Clem, and keeping calm and just staying in the game and just retaking bases, and
yeah, no, doing everything correctly. I mean, suddenly, you know, Clem looks pretty stabilized here, and that's maybe what he didn't have for a little while, but Namshar was doing a very good job. You got to remember of him coming in, shutting down base again and again. Bio still crossing forwards.
Could be a nice move by Namshar on the left. I thought he was going to go for that, like Crofter spray and then Lingbane on the planetary, but I don't think he has enough now. Like, Clem has got this situated now with 3 tanks and a good bio army. I mean, I don't see how Namshar's going to break any of these bases, honestly. It's going to be so tough.
Yeah, and that's going to be, well, no target fire from the Marines, actually. They could have got at least 1 Corruptor there, right? And again, every kind of little thing you pick off right now adds up, as we do see Clem will stim again. He will finally get that 1 Corruptor, but that'll probably be about it. He's also pushing down the right-hand side. We'll find Queens for the moment and a couple of Crypt Tumors, so essentially going pretty well. He's continuing to chase the bottom left. He really believes he can go here. I mean, no tank support or anything like that. The medevacs fly in, but the Corruptors pick them off. Feels like that was maybe a bit aggressive, as he's still trying to fight the right. Tanks are sieging mid-fight, though. Namshar jumping on this at a good moment. Question is there enough? The Zergling's going down. Something the Ultras will be, well, cannon fodder. I mean, you can't just fight with Ultras like this. When they're on their own, there's nothing in front of them. They go down way too quickly. And that's the big issue. The Ultras, again, it's like the second time in a row we've seen this from Namshar. He actually does a pretty good job cleaning up, and then boom, he runs the Ultras into the rest of the bio, and they go down, and it's like, well, that was not what you wanted to have happen.
He really needs to wait for like the Ling reinforcements. Ling, just Ultras on their own don't really actually kill bio very much. It's really just the combination of Ling, Bane, Ultra, and even just Ling Ultra. That's really good to get. And he's doing it here, right? Like the whole entire bio is getting cleared up by the Ling Ultra. So yeah, and the Corruptors were out of the fight as well, which definitely hurt. Like the medevacs were just staying there, constantly healing. So, yeah, a rough fight for Namshar, I think. And that's going to be difficult now because he's on such a low economy that it's just going to be so difficult to really have a presence in this game.
Yeah. No, it feels like this is kind of starting to be the beginning of the end, really. I mean, maybe that was a little while ago even, because we really are just in a tough position at the moment. I don't know what you do as Namshar. You know, like, the fights aren't going well. He never teched up into a position where the fights would start going better.
I think he just has to rely on Clem taking keep taking bad fights, and somehow Clem just mining out these bases. It is starting to happen. Like, this middle base is pretty mined out. The left base, I mean, it has a long way to go, but it could, if he keeps taking these good fights, then I mean, yeah, it's still gonna be tough. But I mean, this is a pretty good fight though. The Baneling's getting on the Marines. He's taking out all the medevacs, leaving one ultra.
Oh, that ultra's really derping out. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was like... I've not seen that before, actually. That feels like he's found like the one place he can click for that ultra to derp around like that.
And Clem getting a drop on the bottom left, taking out 10 drones, taking out the base. This is like such a big, like almost game-winning move, honestly. Like, the fight didn't go that well for him. He lost like all of his tanks basically, and all of his medevacs in the fight. But this drop just like secured his advantage. Like, yeah. I mean, really, like, Namshar's now on a completely terrible economy. So as long as Clem can stabilize, I think he'll be good, in a good position. He does have the armored advantage.
It's just one of those scenarios where Clem is slowly chipping away, and it's hard to find that direct fight that's going to win it. But obviously, over time, he's bleeding Namshar out. And yeah, sure, Namshar might win a fight, but when you're down 10 workers in the base or so, that doesn't necessarily bring you back. You know, that doesn't win you the game unless Clem has also lost his mind, which obviously isn't the case. This is again a fight that Namshar might win, and yeah, I do worry that maybe Clem takes a few too many of these fights that aren't being won, but I mean, at the same time, is this really lost? He actually did clean up a bunch of lings, he's forced the ultras away, and it's only the ultras left.
Really good microphone Clem. Like, he made sure he was completely out of the baneling range. It's really only the banelings that he should be worried about. Ultras on their own, he can just kite them basically. It's really the banelings getting the big hits that's going to be the issue.
Well, the ultras just got taken out there by the Bioforce. Good target fire, and the Corruptors are looking for a caustic spray, and they will get it on that base here. So a couple of Marines starting to come up from behind, though, and I mean, they can stim already. One Corruptor drops. The Bio is again going to eventually be cleaned out on the other side. But again, it's Clem that has, I just think, that little bit of mining better than Namshar that's keeping him in this overall, and just again bringing those extra few units out.
It's been an insane game, actually. Like, it's been flipping from each advantage, like each person's advantage, like so many times. I feel like it's been back and forth like 6 times, where like Clem's being in the lead, like he just needs to stabilize, and Namshar takes like a really good fight, and then the next fight, like Namshar doesn't take like the best fight, and maybe he's behind, but then he takes a really good fight the next fight, and then yeah, it's just been crazy. I think Clem will end up in the advantage just because he has these bases. I mean, he does need to re-expand though. That is the kind of the issue.
But he does have a CZ ready.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he did make that.
It is tough though, because actually he's going to expand to the complete other side of the map, and what Namshar's army is good at, of course, is maybe being in multiple places. So that's going to be a little tough for Clem. But the thing is when that left base mines out and he really needs to expand, he will just focus his army to the right instead, right? So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Is the Banes and blown up by the tanks here. I mean, Corruptor's going to get the medevacs. Those last couple of marauders going down. Namshar still has like one army left in him or so, and I mean, it's still just about working out for him in these couple of fights. It's just he doesn't have enough for a kill and blow, and that's why you've still got to be a little bit concerned.
I think if Clem gets a planetary at this top right, it's gonna be impossible, because and Namshar knows that. He's sending lings there straight there. Like, he really needs to deny this base, because he doesn't actually have enough to engage into a planetary. Like, it's actually not possible. So if he can't deny this economy, like, there's no way he can win. This really is the key point in the map at the moment. Like, he has to deny this base.
And Clem knows it as well. He was already rallying units over here. So it's not like this is just a response to seeing lings. He just knew that this was going to be a point of contention. So moving his units over, good amount of bio. The problem is it's only Zerglings. I mean, they're getting a good fight because the bio is a bit split up more than anything. 7 SCVs go down. The command center lands again. Like you said, I think morphing it into the planetary is going to be the most important part of this. Namshar can barely even afford extra banelings at this stage. He is so broke. So broke.
He's making an orbital I don't know about that. I feel like Apparently just wins this game. That's super weird. Maybe he just wants the mules, but I don't think that justifies it. Like,
He has the gas as well. Like, I mean, he has orbitals, right? He's got an orbital in the natural main third. Like, he's got an orbital on that forward base as well. So he has enough orbitals. I mean, what's the point of the orbital if you can't morph in the if you can't drop the mules down from it because they're getting killed all the time?
Exactly.
This base has to lift again. 29 workers each now. Namshar has shut the economy from Clem down as much as possible.
I mean, he does still have this bottom left base, which isn't mined out at all for Namshar. I mean, he's the bottom, the right hand base is completely mined out, and Clem maybe taking out the space in the middle. That would be pretty big. It's only Lings. I mean, it's only Marines. I mean, these structures doing work, taking out the medevacs. There must be so many medevacs lost in this game.
He's lost 30. Oh my god, there's 1,000 Lings died. I don't actually think I've ever seen that. 1,000 Lings? I don't think I've ever seen this number before. 300 Marines, 48 tanks.
Wow.
Yeah,
this has been an absolutely crazy game. And it is morphing in apparently now, like, all this. I mean, Namshar's catching it before they even gets up.
I know.
Everything off?
Yeah, I know. It's not having that Plandry before. I feel like the Mule should start repairing it just to give it a chance to finish, right? Because if it finishes, like, there's a chance.
It's unnegatable, basically.
Yeah, he's going to Caustic Spray it as well. It's going to lift.
Yeah, it's going to lift.
God. That's such a clutch cancel.
Yeah.
Clem just can't quite get enough units up to make this happen, and that's the issue. I mean, now he's sending SCVs over with... It's just the Lings are trading very efficiently here. Now the numbers have kind of gone down a little bit. Oh my god, I think Clem's not going to be able to make this happen. What a sick game.
That was actually insane, because...
Wow.
As much, I think. Like, he's very good at it, and it's a standard composition, obviously, like Hydrolink Bane into Hive. But I do like to see this stuff from Namshar. Like, I really feel this like multitasking stuff is good for him. Like, he's very good at multitasking, so I do like to see this stuff.
Yeah. I want to know if anyone's ever seen someone play a game with more than 1,000 Lings killed before. That's actually crazy.
I mean, what length was that game? Like 20 minutes or something? It
32.
was like constant fighting.
32.
Wait, it was 32?
Yeah. It was a 32-minute game that felt like it was 20 minutes because it was just like non-stop. And it was like a 20-minute, not a 20-minute composition, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like an early late game composition.
Yeah.
And it was just like that's what we're stuck on.
No brood laws, no infestors, right? Like, so that's kind of insane.
Really crazy.
That was, I mean,
that game. No, that game didn't have as many Lings. No way. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest, because Scarlet basically went into Hive, or like Broodlord straight away,
and I mean, that game also just lasted for an hour when nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. This game is so much different.
You know, you mentioned you felt you called that last game wrong. What do you think me and Roddy thought when we were casting Maru Scarlet?
Oh, well, yeah, true.
We just like, that's one of those games where there's actually just nothing you can say because it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I love the summary on Reddit for that. It's like, it says something when the craziest thing about the game isn't the fact that the stream didn't start until 20 minutes into it. Because the stream, for some reason, we didn't switch to the game for like 20 minutes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we joined the game like 20 minutes in because our production guy just forgot to put the stream on. And so me and Roy are like killing time waiting for it to start. Yeah. And apparently the guys are already, like, the German stream's already casted.
Jeez. I always wondered why I didn't see the start of that game because I swear I was watching the stream at the time.
When neither did me and Roddy. We just joined in and there was like 6 bases each already. How much is 1k Lings? That's like 500 morphs, 500 times 50.
Yeah.
It's like 5,000, 25,000 minerals of Lings.
Yeah, 25k, yeah.
That's actually insane. How many minerals is on a base anymore? It's like 9k? It's like 3 bases of Lings almost. That's
you gotta remember, like,
bonkers.
There are so many Banelings as well, like...
Yeah, we didn't even think about how many Banelings went down.
Yeah.
Actually crazy. Well, game number 2, obviously we're just having a bit of fun here because this game is not too crazy at the start. Namshar takes a fairly reasonable third hatchery, not super duper fast. You know, sometimes 2 minutes is possible, but just third hatch. He got the gas mining. He's going to take Pneumatized Carapace, has 2 queens up and a couple Lings. And meanwhile, Clem is double gassing it, so Starport will start, and we'll get to see a bit of what he might have planned for us here in this game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is just ultra standard. Nothing you would. I mean, this is no surprise from Namshar and Clem. Like, these are the most two of the most like standard players on the ladder. Like, Clem does like to mix it up a little bit, but Namshar is like, yeah, macro game every game. So absolutely no surprise. I mean, I'm interested in what Clem's gonna do. It looks like it's just gonna be honestly just a standard 3cc opening, with a Liberator harass maybe. And I'm surprised he's not getting Viking. I would have liked to see Viking into Liberator. But maybe he wants to go double Liberator, or maybe just... I don't think it's possible to go single Starport unit. We'll have to see.
One Starport unit is very weird. It's just a waste of the Starport, because then you just have it sitting around doing nothing, and you've got resources generally. So... unless he like starts building the add-ons with it very early, one Starport unit is very weird, so... I would imagine perhaps... I guess if there is one Starport unit, though, it's typically the Liberator, because it is a bit more gas-heavy than like the Viking/Medevac that you could go for. So perhaps, he's just going to build the reactor. I'd say that's probably the most likely scenario once the, if you do go single Starport unit.
I don't remember seeing this kind of opening before, like one Starport unit opening. It's usually like Viking into Liberator or like double Liberator or obviously Banshee opening sort of thing. So maybe it's because of the stim change. I haven't played a ton since like the new changes, so maybe it's because of that. Maybe there's some timings that you can do.
But I mean, you can see stims like already finishing, right? So actually, in a way, it's like you do kind of want to get Medevacs that little bit sooner. So yeah, it's definitely. I feel like it's not like I don't feel like I've never seen this before. But you're right. Like typically, you see a Viking then the Liberator. So I feel like usually the Liberator comes in like this if you're trying to go for like Hellbats, because then you want the Liberator ASAP. But then obviously you build one you just build one Liberator because you're building an armory, right? So your gas is going elsewhere, so that kind of makes a bit more sense. In this regard, I guess, it's just kind of to do with wanting to move in towards that bio play ASAP. Starport makes way for the barracks onto the reactor, and it's going to be a second reactor built by the Starport now, so yeah, it's not every day that you use your Starport as kind of your, your add-on worker, It's,
yeah, usually it just builds...
a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is just going to be a little bit of an earlier timing, maybe. I mean, he doesn't even have gas right now for 2 Medevacs, so... Yeah, I haven't kept two on the meta right now, so I'm not exactly sure if this is a new thing, but I obviously don't play Terran, so... Yeah.
I loved what Clem just did, by the way. Just used the Hellions to kill off a Crypt Tumor. Reaper survived with, like, super low HP, like 1 hit away from death.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure...
It's so nice.
I'm pretty sure he didn't attack with all the Hellions as well, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he must know, like, exactly how many Hellions it takes to get to the Reaper, get the Reaper to the one-shot or something.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So, cute little move there, as you do see upgrades coming in from both sides, melee, attack. Nothing too crazy about that. As extra barracks dropping down, I mean, we really are just seeing a bit of a repeat of the last game, for the moment at least. Getting towards the Lingbane mid-game, but, okay, there's an infestation, but it will continue. It's going to be Lingbane into Hive, so Namshar is going to stick around with this style. I mean... His
Lings are so out of position. They're all in the main. I mean, there's so many in the main. There's like almost 24 in the main. And, yeah, I think... I mean, is there a tank here? There's no tank here. Clem kept his tanks at home. It would have been so nice if he could get this position with the tanks. That's unfortunate for Clem. Obviously didn't know, like, what Namshar's positioning, but... Yeah, I mean,
this is a pretty good fight anyways, those Marines just sitting in the corner. The Queens are pretty much the only thing that did anything useful. Yeah, I mean, the Lings treated terribly.
The Queens are so good at just picking off the low health Marines that as long as they do have energy, they will clear up a fight usually. But this Liberator's staying here, staying alive. It's always nice to keep that Liberator alive because it can be so annoying in the mid-game, just queuing it up when you're doing a push. It can be really strong. Yeah, I like that engagement from Clem, getting into that really tight spot. I didn't think it would work out as well as it did, because usually you don't actually want to be fighting Lingbane at that stage, or even just Lings. But it worked out really well, and obviously great decision making from Clem to realise that.
Well, a couple of Medevacs continue up towards the main, going to be dropping off here as an overload from Namshar. Take a few hits. I mean, he's again kind of a bit out of position as the Liberator sets up on the far right side, and he gets a Queen kill. I mean, might get... Okay, Transfuse's already dropped down. He wasn't paying attention, so he gets 2. Yes, really nice.
Yeah. this drop in the main doing well. It's just keeping like Namshar active, and honestly, keeping him distracted is enough. Like that's a good thing. Like you don't necessarily need to do like drone damage or necessarily even kill a lot of lings. As long as you keep these alive, keep their attention away, maybe click creep. That's usually what your aim is with these sort of drops. And he is keeping Namshar out of position. This top right base is kind of vulnerable at the moment to this double drop. He could get some drone damage if he. Oh, it looks like Namshar's just getting in there now.
He can pulled back a little bit,
Yeah.
so should be able to get still a couple of drones here. He's going to go behind the minerals and obviously can kind of fight those lings for a little bit. So I like this. He pulled to the other side again, but now the Banelings show up, and that is where Namshar will force Clem to take his lead. The other drop is actually going to find a queen out the front and maybe a couple of creep tumors. Again, the more creep you clean up, the better it's always going to be for you, because it's so annoying for the Zerg to have to replace that, and obviously if they don't replace it, you're going to have a great time pushing in those areas. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a good
We
job.
also see a difference from the last game. Clem is going Winter Mines now, so he's got the reactor on the factory. He's actually building. He was building a tank, so this is something. I don't know whether Clem will do this, but this is something special does. He likes to go two factory tank Winter Mine, so he actually makes one tank at a time, and then Winter Mines out of the reacted factory. It's kind of like an interesting combo, because it makes it very difficult to engage, because you kind of. The way you want to engage against Terran differs a lot when there's Winter Mines or tanks in play. With tanks, you want to like a big surround, and you want to just go for one big fight. With Winter Mines, you want to set the Winter Mines off and then go for the big fight once the Winter Mines are usually like all gone. But when you have this combo, it's very difficult to know exactly how to engage it. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But I mean, Clem is very good at like the just straight Winter Mine play, like the old hot style of just Winter Mine fire. Yeah, like he's obviously very multitasking focused, very micro focused, so he's going to be good at this. So I don't mind seeing this from him. So that's good stuff.
Medivacs picking up those few Marines in the top right-hand corner, as we do have Winter Mines wandering forwards with this as well. A few Marines going to continue to stem.
Good space from Namshar.
Yeah, it really is a good job of this so far, actually, as we have got lings running in towards this mineral line are going to be immediately in some trouble. So they're going to get a few kills, and the Banes are going to show up, and that's actually going to turn them to be 13 kills, so not bad. Those lings are just running into this fight, though. I don't like that.
Yeah, I think he still had his lings in his main army hotkey. He just moved move command of them, like to get back into position with his main army.
Yeah.
Yeah, this timing is so strong from Clem. Like he's hitting right before 3-3 and chitinous and a good ultra counters up. So this is a nice timing from Clem, and he's microing obviously.
Yeah. If he just gets rid of this like one ultra here, it's just lings, and like lings are just not going to do that. Okay, another ultra shows up just in time to take some of the marine fire away from Zerglings. Clem doesn't have 3-3 though, so if he's not careful, obviously 3-3 finishes for the Zerg, and then Clem might be in a little bit of trouble here. As he gets that ultra, but he took a lot of damage in the meantime. Oh my god, the ultra stayed alive on 4 hit points.
And these Winter Mines are all up, so if Clem reinforces this push, it's going to be so difficult to engage into. Clem is lucky for Namshar. He did have an ultra nearby to clear this drop up. I would have liked to see Clem just go in with that drop a bit earlier, because I feel like it was very difficult for Namshar to split off his army at that point. But obviously, there's a lot going on.
Love the usage of the Widow Mines there, lifting them up and reburrowing them to make sure they went off on the Banelings. Because as long as the Banes aren't here, the Bio can kind of kite against the Ultras, and then Bollock Synthesis is up, so the Ultras do have that extra speed. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just tag these 2 Ultras. They are one-hittable from the army. Like,
yeah.
That's a bit of a shame. No Overseer, by the way, to clean those Widow Mines.
They're all going to get up again. I mean, if Clem reinforces this and actually gets those Widow Mines up again, and he can engage with them again, that's 2 times already that... okay, Namshar's clearing them up with the Overseer now, so it's going to take some damage to them again. Yeah.
Ultras taking a lot of shots. That actually kills the Overseer of the last Widow Mine, unfortunately. a little bit sooner. Hey, this hatchery took a lot of damage as well. I mean, it's only going to take 1 drop at some stage to deny that, so...
Yeah.
You know, the Queens haven't had transfusions to spare on the hatchery. They've been dropping them on the Ultras when they could, so... That's kind of a big deal. Namshar going to be finding himself with this cooling tower knocked down as well, so Clem blocking one of the access paths from Namshar off.
You were totally on point about the 3-3, by the way. I mean, 3-3 hasn't even... I mean, just started for Clem, and 3-3 is done for Namshar. So, at this point, I don't think Clem can engage. He might be he might be too overconfident because how well the game has been going so far.
Mm-hmm.
And he might feel like he can take an engagement, but I really don't think he can. I feel like he's going to get absolutely destroyed in this fight. It does look like he is.
False around. I mean, they'll need to save and graces up. There's no corruptors up just yet, so a couple of Widow Mines. One does burrow. Connection's pretty good. I mean, that's something at least, as Namshar will back away a little bit. Those upgrades are going to be huge for him. And actually, as he hits corruptors, I wouldn't mind if Namshar just set up for a big attack and made use of the 3-3 upgrades if he can realize that he's got them. If he doesn't realize that he's got them, obviously then it's very difficult to commit into that, though.
I'd like to see him at least deny this 5th base, maybe even take out the 4th base. Gonna be tough to take out the 4th base, but he should at least be able to like stop Clem from taking this 5th base. There's no way like Clem should be able to defend that, right?
No, I feel like there shouldn't be, but right now the corruptors aren't here. Clem's actually got a lot of army.
Yeah.
Namshar is, I mean, Namshar's got money he's not spending at the moment. Maybe we've just underestimated how much Clem did clean up, and I mean, like, as long as he does, you know, if Clem's maxed out and Namshar isn't, right, kind of tells the tale, even if Namshar has upgrades.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, maybe Clem can't push with it yet, but it means that Clem's maybe got potential when those upgrades do finish. Let's see. Widow Mine's coming up here. Burrow's a little bit late, and there'll be a mixture of connections. Rip sieging up. So where are the corruptors, though? Just nowhere to be seen.
All these little ultras at home are so low health, and he's sending 3 ultras to counterattack. I don't think this is the time to counterattack, especially with 3 ultras. You really need those in the fight. You need to like crush this site, I think.
Yeah, the Widow Mines do so much as well. The thing is, the Liberators here have already done their job of some big hits on the Ultras. So the Ultras have already taken a lot of damage, and Clem is absolutely steamrolling through this as forward hatchery is taken down. Yeah, this is really, really brutal. So Marine's going to chase Corruptors away to the top, and that's going to be GG. Clem is going to tie up this series 1-1. Now we're getting a hell of a series.
It's just like you kind of see it as like a big delay, right? Like
yeah, but like 90 seconds to 60 seconds, 60 feels so short. So like by the time I get around to looking at the stream waiting for the ads to start, it's like, oh, they started. But I tell you what is crazy, the difference between 2 minutes and 3 minutes. Like, I feel like I can have a conversation with chat on 2-minute delay, but if I have 3-minute delay, I have no idea what they're on about. I'm like, wait, guys, what are you talking about? We talked about this like four maps ago. Like, shut up. It's so slow. I've always felt that's very, very weird. Anyways, we got ourselves a cracker over TvZ. In the bottom right, our red Terran is Clem. He brings
and in the top left. Oh, sorry.
I was done.
And,
you know that.
And in the top left, from Infinity Gaming, it is Namshar.
So we are going to do all the round of 8s at the same time after this series, guys. Obviously, this has been a longer series. And because of that, we are going to do all the round of 8 at the same time because we were scheduled to start all of the round of 8 about 5 minutes ago. So that's kind of where we're at. So we will, 99% sure we'll do Raynor versus Soul, I think.
Yeah.
Seems like, I mean, everyone always likes to watch Raynor. It's a CVT. Yeah. And then from there, we'll go into that first semi-final, second semi-final, and the finals. Guaranteed a Protoss in the finals because the bottom side of the bracket is PvP. So basically, we're just skipping a PvP best of 3. So you can look at it that way.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds very good to me as well, Risky. It really does. Like, best of 3 PvP. Like, I'm not saying it's terrible, but I'm not saying it's great either, you know?
Sometimes it can be really fun. It just depends on the players, I think. If you've got I feel like the standard PvP is maybe not the best, but like when you get 2 crazy players, like maybe Hero or SOS playing against each other or something crazy like that, or Haas, those are fun to watch.
Man, I casted a classic ladder game. Like, Classics gave me some of his ladder replays, and one of his ladder replays against SOS, I casted it earlier this year. Shit. It was so stupid. Like, it's actually the dumbest thing I've ever watched. And it's just like, it went from like proxy Twilight Adepts into like Blink DT base trade into like all sorts of nonsense, like 1 unit left kind of thing. It was just stupid. So usually I would never cast a PvP, but that was absolutely worth the time. Thank you so much, Rashmadan, too, for the Twitch Prime sub as well. Thank you.
Oh, nice reminder from Namshar. Here's Clem is blocking the base. This is really standard these days. Like, the Terrans really likes blocking this third base, especially on this map. The third base is very far away from the natural. Oh, does try and get the creep tumor, but no chance. Reaper's too low. Is just going to deny this third base for a while. And Namshar's reaction is just to get a faster third queen for this. And he'll start overlord speed pretty much right now, I think.
pretty much right now, apart from the fact the game is paused. Namshar was
Exactly,
just like, is Twitch lagging? Well, now he's lagging. Dun, dun, dun. Apparently, we can get the old Twitch at old.twitch.tv.
Oh no, they're doing the Reddit thing.
That's just a lie. No, I was scammed.
Wait, what?
Is this really not true? I was
I'm
so
gonna check.
excited. This is the
Yeah.
worst thing that anyone's ever done to me.
Oh my god, what a lie.
Actually destroyed. How many people just typed in old.twitch.tv or clicked on it?
Maybe it's down because everyone tried to go to
Yeah, old Twitch is actually just so much more popular. People didn't realize what they were missing.
Oh, there's a marine on the other side of the map. I didn't even notice this. Look,
There's a marine? Why is there a marine?
yeah, he rallied this sometimes happens when I play off race. I rally my Reaper or the barracks, and then I make a marine afterwards, and then the marine just goes, and I just completely forget about it when I'm anchoring. So
But
that's kind of
the
funny.
difference is though, Risky, that's your off race, and this is Clem, so
I'm not comparing my off race to Clem, obviously, but
I
yeah,
don't know,
it's
kind of
just funny.
sounded like it.
It's just like one of those silly mistakes that sometimes happens.
All right, well, as we get ready to go into this again in a few moments, don't forget you can exclamation mark Lenovo in the chat, which will give you the chance to check out the Lenovo deal we've got. Legion 15 is the 15% discount. So yeah, make sure you check that out. You get 15% off any Lenovo Legion product. So get on it.
They make good stuff.
They do.
Good gaming laptops.
They let us produce good tournaments as well. So definitely support.
Yeah.
Absolutely worthwhile.
They got you to run the tournament, so of course it's gonna be good.
Well, that's why they picked me, obviously.
So I think this kind of map favors. This doesn't. The thing is, Clem is very good at late game, but I feel like this kind of map does favor Namshar's preferred style, which is the kind of late game infested broodlord, very late game stuff. Whereas Clem likes to be very active everywhere and multitasking and stuff, and this map doesn't really lend itself to that. Clem may be very, very good at just going like straight into late game with ghosts and liberators and stuff. I don't know. Haven't played him in a while, but his late game is very good, but usually he has to go in it from a mid game of multitasking and stuff like that. So I am curious to see how this goes for both players. I wonder what Namshar will do, whether he'll go Hydras or maybe Mutas, or if he'll just stay on that Lingbane into Hive play. Maybe he's just prefers that now. I know that he used to prefer Hydras much more than Mutas or just Lingbane, but maybe it's changed. Be interesting to see. Ooh. There's a Rotor and two gases with Overlord speed. Now that's strange because there used to be a build where you get a lair and you drop 3 queens or 4 queens and you do a Rotor at the same time, and it was designed to beat like Banshee openings, like Cloak Banshee. Maybe he's gonna do it actually. He's getting the lair. Maybe it's a Nidus.
What if it's just the Roach Leg and Queen drop? So you drop the queens and you just Roach Ling alone?
Yeah. I think it could be that. It's either that or Nidus. Like, there's no way this is.
I just don't see I don't necessarily see the necessity of a Nidus if you're gonna go. If you're gonna have like why do you need Overlord speed if you're gonna go Nidus basically?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of to get the Overlord in because of this Viking, but yeah, even then, it's probably better to just drop stuff. But yeah, this is definitely gonna be something aggressive, and it's something I like to see from Namshar. Like, this isn't something you would predict from Namshar at all, and it is a 3cc build. I mean, this is a great situation. Was this a reactive? This can't have been reactive. There's no way, right?
Scout. I mean, he did scout the timing of the 3cc.
Yeah,
that was way before. I mean, he started like way ago. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think this was kind of just his choice.
It's possible that he saw the 330cc like really early, like right when it started, like before he even sort of Overlord speed, and then he did this as a reaction. But I don't think he can do this. I don't think he did it as like a reaction when he scattered Overlord speed. So it's either he did it as like just an intended build from the start, or he scouted the 330cc really early and just decided to do this build. That's very possible.
Two,
But, I mean,
3 bunkers coming up, by the way. So bunkers are absolutely the kind of defense against
Overlord!
this. Oh
He
my
got
god,
the
that's
overlord.
really nice.
Oh no! Like you really want the
Ah.
overlord to just like drop like right onto the tank. That's like the main. That's the main thing with this. Like, and he needs to get in. He needs to get into the space. I mean, this is a brilliant help from Clem so far. Gotta say.
Yeah, oh my god, the supply depot is just about holding on. Close up. It's a little bit crazy. The Lings are going to try and brute force their way into this as well. Corrosive Bowers
Doesn't
still
get the-
don't get the tank
Oh,
for like an
just-
extra shot.
I think it's enough from Clem. Like,
Yeah.
what a sick defense. I think it doesn't matter if he lost SCVs, by the way. Like, absolutely doesn't matter. He's on 3 CC, 3 orbitals. As long as he holds this, he's fine. I feel like Namshar should be droning from this point. Like, just taking out these eBays would be nice. And then, yeah, like, he has a lot of, like, micro potential with these Ravagers. Like, poke potential. So, he can just drone behind this. Maybe he just wants to go for it and just end this.
Yeah.
There is Stim, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stemming in. I mean, the Corrosive Bowers will drop on the tank again. Here's the
Does
thing
get
though,
it.
the Marines can go forwards and get the Ravagers now. That's expensive. And of course, there's 2 bunkers still for those Marines to fall back to. So
Yeah.
overall, kind of feels pretty good. And I mean, Namshar is still making units, still no turnaround towards drones.
It's crazy how much of a difference that Stim makes, because he would not have had Stim there, which means that like Namshar could have like not committed to the aggression as much. But now with the new Stim, actually, I think you just have to kill them. I don't think you can actually just like throw behind it. So I think I was kind of wrong about that, possibly. I mean, maybe it was better than just attacking in, but yeah, hard to say. But I mean, Clem is in such a good position. Does he have +1 already?
Well, yeah, he's got +1 attack, so
Yeah.
he's got that finished up. Clem, oh my god, this load up. He wasn't expecting more units at
Yeah.
all. It's caught him completely off guard. So, in a way, Namshar, he's gotten a little bit lucky there, because if these Marines were already down, this damage is not done, and that's really good extra damage. I mean,
Maybe this is enough.
Yeah,
Oh my
it
god,
might
that's
be.
insane.
Corrosive Bowers coming down. The thing is, there's still going to be Marines alive against the Ravagers. Stims
Yeah.
again. He will chase it away. Wow. I mean, still a good continued defense from Clem. Now he's going to be obviously a bit more careful, perhaps, about lifting up and going across the map once more.
I think the jig's up. Like as long as like Clem knows just the fact he just has to yeah, and what a scan. That's a great
Yeah.
scan. Just knows that he has to defend from this point. He has 1-1 almost done. He has 3 CC, 3 orbital. He knows he just needs to defend. Yeah, and he's walling off the top of the ramp as well. I mean, Clem knows exactly what to do at this point. I think he's in the really good advantage.
Yeah.
I think Namshar needs to break him. I don't think it's possible.
It shouldn't be, right? With Bio, Stim. He's about to have 1-1 as well, by the way. Oh my god, Clem's going to do it again. He doesn't even, like, leave anything at home.
No, that's so silly. Like he scanned the third. He knows what's happening. I mean, this is a weird scenario for Namshar to be still making units and not attacking with them. And that's what Namshar's like trying to go for, but it's kind of like a mind game, you know, that it's so long since he actually attacked Clem. And it is working out, like Clem is on the other side of the map, but maybe it's not even enough. Like he needs to attack when the medevacs are like boosting away, you know, like he needs to go in at that point. But now I think Clem is going to be able to get back.
Yeah, now Clem's going to be back. He's going to be able to reposition his first tank a bit. If he wants to, he's got a second tank coming forwards. I feel like Namshar just gave it a few too many seconds there, and well, he is really committed to making this work out. There's a couple more Corrosive Bowers dropping down, but I mean, what, you break down this engine? He still has +2 attack armor on the engine. I mean, +2 attack should be the priority as well, so makes sense to cancel him to put it on the other eBay here. But also still a bit BM, I feel. You know, he's Corrosive Bowing down your engineering base, and you're just like, cool, I'll start my upgrade.
I gotta say, excellent scan timings from Clem. Like, yeah, and he's claiming. Clem knows he's just scanning the fourth base. He knows that he's in such a great economic position. He's got great upgrades. He just needs to wait, get a good army, and then just attack and finish the game. Honestly, yeah, it's gonna be so tough for Namshar from this point. I mean, I like that he chose this strategy. I just think it wasn't. Maybe it's something he's not practiced that much because it wasn't perfectly executed. Honestly, like the Overlord going down, there was some mismicro on the Lings. Like the Lings shouldn't be going in and getting bunched up on the supply depot. Stuff like that. It's really the small things with these pushes that really make the big difference. Yeah, maybe Namshar's just not quite comfortable with this Solon just yet. I do like the choice, but maybe choose something you've practiced more. would be my suggestion. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think Clem is just gonna go for this timing with 2-2. He's moving out a little bit early for it. I mean, he still has 1-1. He will have 1-1 against 0-0, so the timing is still gonna be very, very good. But yeah.
Well, I mean,
Go on, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, there's attacks coming forwards, right? And it just kind of feels like Clem has so much. I know, you look at Namshar, I mean, there's a lot of units there, but it's just Lings and Ravagers, and okay, now there's some Banes being brought into play. There's not even Bane speed finished yet.
And it's the reason it looks like there's so much army is 55 drones. Like, Namshar is playing this correctly. Like, he needs Clem to have a really bad engagement and just like completely destroy everything and then counterattack, and then maybe that's how he wins or gets his advantage back. You know, that's like the only way he really wins this game. So he is doing the right thing. It's still going to be so hard because he was just so far behind. Yeah, I doubt, but Clem is going to misrank you so much that he's going to take such a like disaster of an engagement.
Well, here we go. We're about to find out. Lings running into the back. The Banes are going to get on top of the Marines though, so they will get quite a bit done. I mean, it's still a lot of losses for Namshar here. I mean, there's still Marines alive towards the tail end of this. I mean, Namshar comes out of that with 4 Ravagers alive and like a handful of Zerglings, so it's a cleanup, but he's still down upgrades going on from here.
It's a start though, right? Like that's like the one engagement he needs out of like 3 engagements to get him into like an even position. This allows him to drone. He should just be hitting the drone key at this point. Like he needs to just go up to like 70 drones, 75 drones, something like that, just to stay on par with Clem economically. Because if he doesn't, he's just gonna get outproduced. Like he just can't produce that much off 55 drones. It's not possible. It was a really sick engagement, very well played from Namshar to get that surround, but he still needs more, for sure.
Marines loading up, and well, actually just sends the empty medevacs up top. Actually unloads right here, and now has to lift up again though. Clem is going into 3-3 upgrades. I mean, that's something I don't think Namshar is ever realistically going to get in this game. It's going to be so hard for him to afford an infestation pit and a hive and all of that.
Hive just stunning now, like it's so late compared to a normal game, you know. It's even kind of a greedy hive, you know, because he is down in army like so massively. So he's kind of taking a risk somewhat that he can take a good engagement when the engagement comes. So yeah, it's gonna be tough when Clem does move out with. I think he's gonna move out 3-3 honestly, or maybe just +3 attack. But there will be a timing coming, and it's gonna be almost impossible for Namshar. He literally needs to get the same engagement again. That big, massive surround, good baning connections, and good ling surrounds. That's what he needs. Yeah.
Marines load up into medevacs here as Lingbane Ravager backs away. I mean, the couple Liberators harassing as well, keeping Namshar's drone count just a little bit further back, and I mean, Clem is just getting ready to rally across once more here.
Looks like he will be hitting with +3. +3 armor is probably going to happen like maybe during or slightly after the fight, so will still come into effect somewhat. But he will be wanting to engage with this +3 attack. This is not the engagement Namshar needs. He needs to just set up like that massive surround again, and then just go for it in one big engagement with 2-2. That's his only chance, I think.
Yeah, fighting head on does not feel like any sort of success story here. As Clem gets him a few units ahead. I mean, I like this as well, right? Trying to bail out a few baneling connections, get a little bit of damage done. Namshar is setting up on the bottom side, but Clem can kind of. It's a concave, but he can kind of run backwards anyways, right? You know, that's it. It's a concave, not a surround.
Yeah.
So Clem's gonna get the G.